Sea moss is a sea algae that is commonly found along the Atlantic coast and Caribbean. This algae can be found in many different colors including green, yellow, purple, brown, and black. Sea moss has been growing in popularity for the past few years when it comes to food. Some have claimed that sea moss does everything from boosting immunity and soothing digestion to strengthening joints and improving skin health. So does sea moss live up to what people are saying? Be sure to watch the video in its entirety to find out the benefits and risks of consuming sea moss. Does sea moss have health benefits? Just like the majority of supplements, sea moss has very specific benefits. The health advantages of sea moss are similar to seaweed and other sea algae that can be found in the same environment as sea moss. These are the most popular health benefits of eating sea moss. Thyroid support. This is one of the most common benefits of sea moss. Sea moss, like most kinds of seafood and sea vegetables, is rich in iodine. This is ideal for thyroid support because our body uses iodine to make thyroid hormones, which then help grow and repair the damaged cells in the thyroid gland. Iodine will also be a great tool to improve your metabolism. Supporting weight loss. Weight loss is another benefit of adding sea moss into your daily routine. Sea moss is full of fiber, which is key to staying full and not overeating during meals. That is why it is recommended to add sea moss to your morning coffee or tea. This algae also comes with an accessory called fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin is known for breaking down and metabolizing fat. Don't get your hopes up. Sea moss helps during the process of weight loss, but it won't make you lose weight on its own. One should still eat healthily and exercise while taking sea moss. Some studies have shown that people who started consuming sea moss began to feel slimmer and full of energy after a couple of weeks. May boost skin health. Sea moss is used in skincare products because of its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. Sea moss is also full of nutrients like the popular omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin A, and magnesium. Consuming sea moss strategically can be useful to hydrate and soothe your skin while fighting damage and infections. There isn't any scientific research on the improvements of sea moss for skin, but the vitamins and minerals it contains are great for promoting a healthy face. Gut health. The gut is another big reason why many people take sea moss. The dietetic fibers that sea moss contains make it a great way to boost the body with healthy bacteria. This is extremely good for the intestines and your metabolism. Adding some sea moss to your food will definitely make some positive changes in your gut health. Immunity boost. This perk can only be enjoyed by taking sea moss daily. Sea moss comes with potassium chloride, which will help in reducing the body's inflammation. Due to its positive effects on the immune system, sea moss helps reduce a person's risk of infection. Studies have shown that 1 tablespoon of sea moss every day can significantly improve a person's immune system, reducing the probability of infections, inflammation, and diseases. Blood pressure. Blood benefits also come with consuming sea moss daily. Irish sea moss is famous for being the best plant-based root of omega-3 fatty acids along with seaweed. Omega-3 fatty acids are very important for a healthy heart and for reducing high blood pressure. Sea moss is also known to help people with diabetes to respond to insulin more efficiently. This will give back control to the body and sometimes stops the blood sugar levels to spike. Sea moss will also prevent diabetes crashes. Some studies have shown that people who have been taking organic sea moss for 3 months stated their blood pressure was considerably lowered. Increases satiety. When consumed with liquids, sea moss reveals a gel-like texture that is chunky and sticky. This texture performs as a soluble fiber that will make you feel satisfied for a long period. Putting some sea moss in meals will increase satiety, and for this reason could potentially reduce the number of calories you ingest. There isn't scientific proof to sustain this idea, but the theory is that sea moss has a similar effect to chia seeds and aloe in this area. Sea moss can prevent tumors. A few lab studies are suspecting that consuming sea moss has anti-tumor effects that are because of the algal polysaccharide it contains. Researchers don't have definite answers about why this occurs in lab trials, but they indicate that it may be due to polysaccharide's ability to enhance the body's immunity and improve its antioxidant activity. Fertility. This is probably the most common benefit that sea moss is used for. If you travel to the Caribbean islands, you'll notice that sea moss is famous as a magic sex potion. It is explained that algae are great for fertility. This algae is used by many people as an additional way to improve fertility. Sea moss is a natural tool of energy and sexual enhancer. This saying didn't come out of the blue. Sea moss is known to boost testosterone and sperm counts in men. Men who live in the Caribbean Sea eat sea moss as a love potion before going into sexual intercourse. Some other health advantages that people enjoy from sea moss are clearer skin and stronger hair. The sulfur content that sea moss contains causes it to perform as an antibacterial, antiviral, and antimicrobial that improves the functioning of the skin microbiome. One can use sea moss as a skin mask, and it will also work as a skin tightening element. The vitamin E in this algae will boost your hair growth. Vitamin E is an element that goes against oxidative stress. This is the most popular cause of hair loss in the majority of people. What to know before eating sea moss? Up until now, sea moss might sound like something great, but don't hurry up too much to include it in your diet. These are a few things you should know before starting to eat sea moss. The benefits aren't well researched. The research is still poor on the efficiency and security of consuming sea moss for various health benefits. This means there is a lack of knowledge about possible side effects and connections with medications, herbs, or other supplements. There is also little knowledge of the right dosage and precautions based on various medical conditions. Some studies on the health advantages of sea moss for diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, as well as how it affects immunity, have taken place in labs or with animals. For this reason, researchers haven't used standardized forms for sea moss. This leaves unanswered questions about the ideal use of sea moss for humans. While there is a growing interest in algae as a functional food with benefits beyond the nutrients it contains, there are many variables to consider. Algae may be rich in minerals and antioxidants, but the digestibility and bioavailability of nutrients aren't well understood. The question is, how much nutrition is taken from the digestive tract into the bloodstream, and how accessible and usable are those nutrients to our cells? Other question marks include the variability of nutrient levels based on where and how the algae are grown, and issues related to potential contamination with heavy metals and other environmental toxins. You can consume too much. Sea moss is likely a rich source of iodine. This essential mineral helps produce thyroid hormones. The goal with iodine is to consume a just right amount, as both too little and too much can throw thyroid hormones out of whack. So yes, you can get too much of a good thing, and more isn't better. If you consume sea moss, be careful not to overdo it. It may be a supplement rather than a food. Sea moss is sold in several forms, including dried, ground, pills, or droppers. Sea moss products sold as dietary supplements aren't regulated in the same way as prescription drugs. They do not have to be proven to be effective or safe before they are marketed. And there is largely no way of knowing if what is stated on the label is precisely what is in the product. This isn't to say that supplements shouldn't be used. I believe many are beneficial. But it's important to use caution and to take supplements with the guidance of your doctor or a dietitian who can recommend the right form, dose, frequency, and length of use, or identify any potential precautions to be aware of. Bottom line, adding some sea moss to an occasional smoothie or a plant-based pudding is probably fine, and may offer some nutritional advantages. But don't overdo it, count on it as a cure-all, or blindly accept all of the claims about its benefits, particularly from those profiting from its sale. Most importantly, look for an independent expert before you include any supplements in your daily or regular routine. Drop a comment letting us know if you think sea moss is worth the risk on your way out.